Let's take a closer look at Patrick Mahomes' second interception of the game. This one coming on a tip ball. We're at 13:09 to go in the second quarter. In a 0-0 game, the Chiefs have a 3rd and 4 at the Commanders' 48-yard line. Mahomes has a bunch set to his left and Rashee Rice isolated on the right in shotgun. He motions Xavier Worthy over to the right. Drops back, throws over the middle. It's tipped by Travis Kelce and intercepted by Bobby Wagner. So on this play, it's a little more complicated. I don't know if those of you who watch this play in real time, one of the things that really surprised me was how much heat Patrick Mahomes had on this throw. If you see this pass here, he really fires it in there to Kelce at a pace that he's not able to handle it. Now, as the old adage says, if you get your hands on it, you got to catch it. And of course, I'm not absolving Kelce from responsibility here, but this ball was thrown a little higher and much harder than one would anticipate for this kind of route. And when you see the route combinations, it starts to make sense as to why. So what the Chiefs are doing here, they're in 11 personnel. They've got Brashard Smith as the running back, Travis Kelce as the tight end, and their wide receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice. They motion Worthy over to the right, and they're running Rice on a curl. Worthy is going to come around on the wheel and clear out. They're having Juju come up and run a curl here, and Travis Kelce is kind of doing his underneath freelancing, trying to find a spot in the zone. Brashard Smith is going to come out wide to try to widen the zone. And this looks like the Commanders are playing a middle field open coverage, which means that they've got two safeties that are going out wide and leaving the middle of the field. It's honestly unclear. This looks like it's probably a Tampa 2 because you see Bobby Wagner drops a little bit to hold in the middle. You have the middle of the field open with the two safeties. And this corner drops back with the wheel route from Worthy, whereas this corner stays up with the flat route from Smith. So it looks like it's probably covered 2 with like some Tampa responsibilities. That's why Wagner drops back. So as you see the zone develop here, Rice kind of settles in an opening in the zone. Kelce does an in-cut and turns in. And Juju settles in an opening in the zone as well. So you see Kelce settle here and Juju settle here. And what it looks like is that Mahomes, especially if you look at the timing, this is where Patrick Mahomes is making his decision to throw right here. Right now, he's making that decision to throw. He pats the ball right there, and he's firing. Look at what's happening at this point. Juju is settling right into his spot right there. So what it looks like is Mahomes is attempting to fire this ball into Juju. Kelce has settled right here. Juju has come right here, and Mahomes is trying to hit this spot with a dart right there. However, right as he throws, Kelce sees him throwing over the middle and assumes that is leading him into the center of the field. And so Kelce follows in with the ball and tries to catch it. And Kelce's not anticipating the ball to have this much heat because it's being thrown to someone who's 5 yards behind him with a defender right on him, right? So Mahomes does need to fire this ball in there. So I think the pace of this throw catches Kelce by surprise, and that's why he's not able to get his hands up quickly enough to really squeeze it. He just gets his hands up fast enough to be able to tip it, and it's tipped right to a defender and intercepted. Now, the thing is, and this is probably just a reflex, but if you're not, if you have to throw your hands up like this, it's much better not to tip it, not to touch it. And as they say, like, if you are going to get your hands on a pass, you better squeeze it because this is the worst case scenario for that kind of pass. And it gets intercepted. But it really seems like the big reason for why this happened was that unfortunately, this was a pass for Juju Smith-Schuster that Kelce thought was for him. Two of them were very close in spacing, which is not by design. It's partially because Kelce is given freedom to kind of roam and find his soft spot. So he came, he found an opening in the zone, and then Juju, again, also found an opening. See, Bobby Wagner's right there to wall off anything inside. If Wagner is playing this like standard, not kind of closing the middle of the field or attempting to. But if this is just like a standard cover 2 and he's down here, Juju would be coming and sitting right here. But if you see, Juju cuts it short because Wagner is right there. And as he stops, Mahomes tries to fire this in there. And Kelce sees the pass coming, thinks Mahomes is leading him to an open, which would have been like a reasonable thing to do, right? Lead him. There's a lot of area in the middle of the field. This is a 3rd and 4. So, but Mahomes' pass to Kelce would likely be lower and not have this much heat on it. In any case, just an unfortunate combination of, the miscommunication and Kelce not being able to squeeze a pass that he got his hands on. So you'll get an even better view from the end zone. Here's Worthy going in motion. Mahomes drops back. You see Wagner getting his depth here. And you see Kelce coming curling. And he's there. If Mahomes wanted the first down right now, he can throw it to Kelce. But Mahomes sees Juju, so he's like following this route. He sees this intermediate coming open. That's going to be 5 more yards. Steps up and fires it to Juju, and you see Kelce seeing the pass coming over here. So Kelce goes to the ball, and it's coming in a lot hotter than he expected, and he's not able to squeeze it. In this situation, of course, you gotta make the play, but he's just not anticipating that level of heat on the ball. Results in a tip and an interception. And now we'll play a clip. They actually discussed this. Peyton and Eli Manning discussed it with Jared Goff on the Manning cast. So let's take a listen to that.